First off, I want to thank God, because that's who I look up to. He's graced my life with opportunities that I know are not of my hand or any other human hand. It's a scientific fact that gratitude reciprocates. In the words of the late Charlie Lawton, who said, when you got God, you got a friend, and that friend is you. To you, Dad, you taught me what it means to be a man. To my mother, who's here tonight, who taught me and my two older brothers, demanded that we respect ourselves.
When Matthew McConaughey took the Oscar stage and thanked God first, Hollywood executives literally squirmed in their seats. The camera caught at least 3 of them rolling their eyes while he spoke about his faith. What happened next shocked everyone. Instead of backing down, McConaughey doubled down on his beliefs, becoming the rare A-lister who refuses to play by Hollywood's unwritten rules. This video shows how he survived and thrived while everyone around him got canceled. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. When Matthew McConaughey thanked God during his Oscar acceptance speech, something strange happened in the audience. Several Hollywood elites visibly stopped themselves from applauding.
And you are, am I wrong here? You are religious in some way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to bring this up in this day and age when people go, no, I'm not religious, I'm only spiritual. We bastardized the meaning of it over time, and we've excluded people and we've corporatized it and such. But yes, I am religious. You know what the Latin root of religion is? Re-legare. And legare means to bind together. Re means again. Well, in a world that's saying I'm only spiritual because I want unity.
They went to clap, but then noticed that'd be a bad thing on my resume. McConaughey later revealed in an interview. This moment exposed one of the entertainment industry's most guarded secrets, its deep religious hypocrisy. What makes this revelation so shocking is what McConaughey shared next. I've prayed with these same people before dinners many times. Let that sink in. The same folks who froze at the mention of God on television had happily joined hands in prayer when the cameras weren't rolling. It's Hollywood's version of don't ask, don't tell.
Science is the practical pursuit of God. The two are not exclusive. They dance together. They go together. You know, I had written stories. I'd written a college paper called John Wayne Goes West, and it was about how can you be a believer in a world of science, belief in science. And I never saw those as contradictions. And that's part of the reason I attacked that role and became a part of that movie. I wanted to play a person that had that point of view.
Except it's about faith, not sexuality. The industry creates this bizarre double standard where spirituality is acceptable behind closed doors but becomes career suicide when expressed publicly. One producer told McConaughey off record, "You can be anything in this town except openly religious." Another time, after McConaughey mentioned his Sunday traditions in a casual conversation, 3 executives suddenly remembered urgent calls they needed to make. During a film premiere after-party, McConaughey watched as an up-and-coming actress got cornered by a powerful director who mockingly asked about the cross necklace she wore. Is that a fashion statement, or are you one of those people? The actress laughed it off nervously, tucked the necklace into her dress, and changed the subject. McConaughey noticed she never wore it publicly again.
Yeah, it's a confusing role for a lot of people if someone is a believer and also a proponent of science. Because they want to know, what are your literal beliefs? And is there wisdom in those translations? Is there wisdom in those original thoughts, these thousands of years of people contemplating and mulling on these things?
I mean, you know, for people that go, oh, it's a circus book, or people that are non-believers, and I'm like, well, it's still the best one going.
This culture of religious intimidation isn't subtle. At a major studio meeting, McConaughey witnessed an established screenwriter pitch a character whose faith was central to their identity. The executive's feedback? Can we make them spiritual but not religious? We don't want to alienate audiences. Translation? Belief in something bigger is fine as long as you don't name it. While many colleagues played this game, McConaughey chose a different path. I haven't head-butted trouble on that, but I've pretty much gone my own way, he explained. When advised to tone down his faith references during the peak of his rom-com days, he refused. One agent predicted it would limit his appeal. Instead, McConaughey's authenticity became part of his brand. The risks were real. Several projects suddenly went in a different direction after McConaughey stood firm on his beliefs. A director once pulled him aside during filming and suggested, maybe save the prayer thing for your trailer? It makes some people uncomfortable. McConaughey simply responded, I'm not asking anyone to join me. This stance required genuine courage in an industry where conformity often determines success.
Now, when I was 15 years old, I had a very important person in my life come to me and say, who's your hero? And I said, I don't know, I got to think about that. Give me a couple of weeks. I come back 2 weeks later. This person comes up and says, who's your hero? I said, I thought about it. You know who it is? I said, it's me in 10 years. My hero's always 10 years away. I'm never going to be my hero. I'm not going to attain that. I know I'm not. And that's just fine with me because that keeps me with somebody to keep on chasing. So I turned 25 10 years later. That same person comes to me and goes, so are you a hero? And I was like, not even close. No. She said, why? I said, because my hero is me at 35.
When McConaughey won his Academy Award, industry insiders warned him to keep his speech universal, code for leave God out of it. McConaughey ignored them, and that moment became one of his most memorable. The question that fascinated many was why McConaughey would risk career momentum by being so openly faithful. While many stars carefully curate public personas separate from their private beliefs, McConaughey refused this division. Compartmentalizing like that creates a kind of spiritual schizophrenia, he once explained. You can't be authentic Monday through Saturday and then suddenly authentic on Sunday. This integrity played a surprising role in one of his most acclaimed performances. The time I chose to inhabit Rust Cohle was when my faith was strongest, McConaughey revealed about his dark, nihilistic character in True Detective. This seeming contradiction, playing an atheist character while personally grounded in faith, allowed him to explore the character with both empathy and distance. His unwillingness to hide his spirituality has made him something of an outlier in Hollywood, but also earned him respect. Several younger actors have privately approached him for advice on navigating the industry without compromising their values. You don't have to choose between your faith and your career, he tells them, but you do have to be ready for some uncomfortable moments. McConaughey's experience exposes a fundamental contradiction. Hollywood preaches tolerance and authenticity while practicing judgment and conformity. It celebrates diverse perspectives, but maintains an unofficial blacklist for certain viewpoints. The industry that makes billions telling stories about being true to yourself often punishes those who actually live that message. What makes McConaughey unique in Hollywood isn't just his Texas drawl or his all right catchphrase. It's his refusal to compromise who he is. Even when his authenticity wasn't trendy, he stuck to his guns. He's not interested in being another cookie-cutter celebrity following some unwritten rule book. The industry wants you to fit into certain boxes, he once said. But the moment you start chasing other people's approval, you lose what made you special in the first place. This philosophy has guided his career choices and public image alike. McConaughey's message to fans is simple. Don't sacrifice your true self on the altar of conformity. In a world where everyone's worried about the right opinion to hold, sometimes real strength is just standing your ground while everyone else is running with the herd.